Hello, everybody, and hello, nobody, because you're already here. Welcome back. We're finally continuing with Cold Shenanigans. Jeff Solon and Mervin have been talking to a priest after they've, well, kinda defaced the statue a little bit, and they got told off, but everything seems to be alright. And because it's been 2 months, and for the love of me, I'm not able to pick the conversation up where we left it. That was a mistake on my part. I'm sorry for that. Um, we're just gonna go like, as the priest is talking to you, Jeff, and you've been conversing for a while. He goes, excuse me. Thank you very much for being upright and returning the feather. But I have business to attend to. You're welcome to stay and pray if you so wish. Um, Good day to you. And he walks away.
And this is where I am now laughing to myself because I've just remembered that I stole the feather from the statue, didn't realize, and took it back. Oh, that's what I did. I've completely misplaced my second session notes. I only have my notes from the first session,
All
so I'm
right.
just not going.
Do you need more
So,
of a recap? Because I can give you a rough outline if you need it.
please do. Please give me a rough
Right.
outline so I fully remember what madness Jeff did last time.
So second session was basically you return to the cold hideout. Um, Arnold gave you a task of procuring the blood of a celestial, and gave you the hint that in one of the temples, the temple to Avandra, no, Erathis, there is a Pegasus. So you scoped it out and found out that there's a Pegasus statue, and Jeff decided to pluck a feather off of it. The feather seemed to be reacting to him speaking in Celestial by slightly warming up and humming, or vibrating more. Um, Meanwhile, Solon did some shopping. She talked to a nice dwarven merchant uh, whose body has seen better days, but he seems to manage. And yeah, after you've reconvened, talked about what you found out, you decided to return to the temple and return the feather where you've been approached by the priest, who has been made aware of what you did by a woman that watched you because you weren't stealthy. And he explained to you a little bit about the history of the statue, that it was in fact once a living Pegasus, gifted to them by an angel sent by Arathis when the town slash city was in peril a few hundred years ago. The statue of the figure of someone riding the Pegasus, however, that's actually just a statue, according to him.
Mm.
And yeah, you've brought back the feather, stuck it back in its place, and now he's walked off.
How does Jeff get himself into this stuff? Right.
Well,
So,
first roll of the night, actually. How about you make a perception check, Jeff?
that I can do. All right. How dead is Jeff going to get us all today? I want my perception. He is not very perceptive. Dice gods say 13.
You know what? That's actually enough because you've been staring at this statue for a while now. You do realize now that while you were talking, the feather that you, or on the feather that you stuck back into the statue, there's a tiny hint of red.
Did I have a vial or anything for said blood?
I don't know, do you?
Oh, what did I have? I made sure. Oh, I've got my water skin. I've got a sensor, and if there's nothing in said sensor, I could put it in that, or I could just drink. I just drink. That's what I'll do. I'll just drink the water out of my water skin and get the drop of blood into said water skin.
Quick thinking
Alright.
from Jeff.
A water skin is like 2 liters, I think. I think I have a more accurate number here. No, I don't. So let's just say for now it's 2 liters.
I know there used to be just marked as 1 day's worth of water, which
It
I think is
probably
2 liters.
yeah, it's 2 liters if you're actually active
Hmm.
and don't want to get dehydrated. So Jeff, how about you make a Constitution saving throw as you try and down your water skin?
Oh, God.
This is where Jeff absolutely bosses this, guzzles the water in just like one gulp.
Well, let's see. He's a paladin. He should have
Constitution.
decent constitution.
Mm-hmm.
No, apparently I'm not thirsty. So that was a 4.
Oh, yeah. As you're trying to drink all of the contents of your water skin, instead of, going outside and just spilling it on the ground, after like 2 or 3 gulps, it's a little too much water that comes out, and it goes up your nose, and then you grasp for air, and then it gets into your lungs, and then you start coughing, and then your hands cramp up, and there's a spout of water coming out of your water skin, partially in your face, partially just on the floor. The woman that has been in this temple and has seen you a lot now. She's the one that alerted the priest to what you did. She just looks at you in shock.
I totally just try to style this out by coughing and obviously hitting my chest. And I look at this lady, I'm like, thirsty business, these chats with priests. And then I just accidentally drop my water skin until it's, spilled out across the floor. And then start use my amazing, my lovely black cloak that I'm still totally wearing with my normal common clothes and whatnot. And just whilst I'm wiping up the water, I'm sorry. And then obviously I get a bit of blood. And then I'm just like, you know what? Sod this. Walk out. Whilst whistling some tune like.
So
you're
just
I'm
trying
my
to.
character's just looking dead ahead and just not looking at Jeff. Like if I stand in where I am and don't look at him, people won't think that I know him.
All right.
Exactly.
So you're just trying to clean the mess up a bit, and then you just walk away.
Yep.
All right. You get outside. Jeff and Solon and Mervin don't look at you. They don't follow you for now. What are you guys doing?
Totally
I'm just
Decide.
internally counting to like 20 before I follow so that it doesn't look like I've followed.
No, wait. We had to count to 100 first, just to make sure.
No, but I'm worried about how far Jeff will make it if I count that high. 100 seconds is a lot of time for Jeff to cause mischief.
Hey,
It certainly is.
this ain't Scooby Doo.
Sure. I mean, okay. I guess we shouldn't blame Jeff. He's only human after all.
And it took
I feel like
exactly
as a punishment for starting this, I should play like a human or at least a character without dark vision next time.
took us exactly 5 minutes to bring it up again. Great.
Yep.
I love it.
Jeff, the master of disguise.
All right, Jeff, where are you headed?
Seeing as I now have a wet bundle of cloth, a water skin with a hint of celestial blood, and totally straight face, not embarrassed in the slightest. I'm just gonna do that, totally nonchalant power walk all the way back to base.
Now,
He's drenched and it's like bright sunshine outside.
now the little bit of celestial blood that you have is like a smear on like the edge of your water skin.
Well, that's fine. I don't want the smear to dry up, so maybe I'll go into a short jog.
All right. Which, if they count to 100 or even just to 20, puts you out of their visual range once they leave the temple.
Oh no.
So I don't know. Let's cut this a little short. Jeff, what is your goal? Is going to, I'm assuming, the hideout again.
Yes, exactly that. Back
The
to
two of you.
home.
Are the other two following there, or is there any business you have to attend to on the marketplace?
Just
I'm
so
more-
for so long.
Yeah, I'm more panicked that Jeff is gone. Solon, Jeff is gone. Where has Jeff gone?
Your base, hopefully.
That actually would make sense.
Yeah.
Should we follow him? We should follow him, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go before he causes more trouble.
All right, so you follow. Eventually, you find him entering the hideout with his wet bundle of cloth. And yeah, you all head inside past the puppy with the strange eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can the first thing that you realize once you enter is this smell of roasted beef and fresh vegetables just permeating throughout the hideout.
Ooh.
Because you've been here for a while, you know exactly what this means. Esther has gotten her hands on some pretty good stuff, and today you're gonna eat pretty good.
Yay, pulled pork Saturday. And if it's not pork, don't want to know, it's pulled pork. Pulled pork Saturday. We'll just italicize the pork if it's not a pig or a boar.
Fair enough.
Sure, Jeff.
Okay. Well, I feel like priority is probably the blood if it's gonna dry up. But we don't even know that Jeff's got it. Like we just I haven't asked yet.
Yeah, you just saw him run.
What happened? What did you do?
Well, I may have absolutely uncontestedly acquired a smidgen of red stuff from where the feather came out. There may have been other stuff that happened, but let's just say someone spilt a drink and move on.
Yeah, you know what? Fine. Yes. Okay. I think that's as much as I want to know.
So I'm assuming now that I've got this smidgen of red, we should go see Arnold, and
Probably.
Sensible.
then get the pulled pork sandwich.
Yes.
Yes, pulled pork.
Like we don't want to
sandwich.
seem greedy and just be like, well, we were going to bring it to you, but we smelled lunch.
Ooh. It's fine.
I know, but look, this comes first.
Okay. Well, let's go find Arnold then. And I guess Jeff just wanders off in hunt of Arnold.
Well, there's not much choice. There's not a lot of rooms. There's the kitchen with the attached storage. There's the quote unquote mess hall where people come to eat, which does not have enough seat for everyone at the same time. Then
Mhm.
there's a group quarter for most of the cultists. You three have your own quarters. Arnold has one for himself, which is obviously the biggest and most luxurious. You managed to peek inside once, and you could swear that there's an actual stuffed bookcase in there.
Wow.
And then there's the temple, or the ritual chamber, however you want to call it, because yeah, it's a little too small to be called a temple, I think.
Hmm. Okay.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say a stuffed teddy bear.
That was what I was expecting, honestly.
Well, you did not manage to see his bed at the time, so who knows?
The stuffed teddy bear is still a maybe.
Right, Jeff needs to take a note in his notepad at some point in the future to buy Arnold a stuffed teddy as thanks for the book.
Okay. Do we know much of Arnold's habits? Like, would he actually be out in the temple at this time, or would he just be in his quarters?
Either of the two most of the time. Unless he's out. He even eats there. He doesn't spend too much time with the rest of the group.
Hmm.
I just got to knock on his bedroom door. If it's closed, if it's open, stick my head in and be like, Arnold. I had perfect opportunity to go, hey, Arnold.
All right. You walk up. You walk up to the room, knock on the door, wait a few seconds, and the door opens. And Arnold, still chewing, looks at you expectantly.
What's he chewing on?
You don't know his mouth is closed.
Can I like peek past him to see if I can see if like there's food on his desk or something?
Make a perception check.
Jeff, show him the thing.
Whilst I'm looking in the room, I'm making a perception check, and I'm like, the thing. All right. So my perception check is 16.
There seems to be a plate on a table on the opposite wall.
Oh, food looks good. But here you go. Here's the thing with the red blood celestial stuff. What's the food?
Jeff got the blood of the celestial, Arnold. We don't know how he managed it, but somehow he was the one to get it.
Just for reference, Jeff's doing that thing. You know, you see a kid in like a toy store, and they're stood still, but like just doing that kind of stand on the tiptoes and lean to the left and then lean to the right. Yeah, that's what Jeff's doing.
All right.
Considering the size of him, food.
All right. Arnold takes the water skin out of your hand, looks at the smidge that you have. Mervin, make an insight check.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's not enough, is it?
This is how he summons Tiamat and we all die.
It was all Jeff's fault.
I rolled 13.
13. Yeah. A hard expression to read. He looks at it, swallows the rest of his meal. He holds it up to his nose and sniffs it. And this time, no one has to even roll for it because this is way too obvious. His face, he's making a grimace as if he just smelled like a 5-day-old roadkill.
Ooh.
Dunked in vinegar.
We didn't do good.
And he quickly pulls it away from his nose and says, "Now, this certainly is the right thing. It's not blood, it is actually the right thing, but what did you make? Why did you assume that this smidgen would suffice? Like, Or did you want to double check first?
The double checking.
Totally double checking.
Make deception checks.
I'm looking at the food. I'm not even paying attention to the conversation now.
I figured.
I rolled a 17.
Oh boy. Hey!
You can
I
answer with
rolled 23.
23.
Yeah, alright. He looks at you, a little skeptical, but says, oh, alright. I guess that was not a bad idea after all. But yes, this is it. This is Blood of a Celestial. Now, I need more.
Hmm.
This will not suffice. The ritual. We just need more. So I hope wherever you got this from, and I'm happy it happened today already. Kind of hard to believe actually, but anyway. Good job for now. Bring me more.
Well, this is why we wanted to double check, because that blood came from the statue of the Pegasus in the temple. So we wanted to make sure before we have to go and do more there that we have to be very careful not to cause unwanted attention. And we thought the best way to avoid causing unwanted attention was to at least make sure that we were absolutely sure before we did anything.
The statue in a temple, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway. Ah, you know what? I've lost my appetite. Hey, Jeff, 1 second. Walks inside, grabs his plate. Here you go. Get some
Oh.
get some strength first.
Cheers, Arnold.
Right, and he closes the door.
Such a nice guy, Arnold.
I think that went well.
Yeah. We're screwed.
We actually are, aren't we? Okay.
No, we'll be fine.
So it would seem that so you got the blood off the statue, right, Jeff?
Yeah. So where I kind of took the feather from and then put the feather back, there was blood. So
Huh.
Did we
Okay.
try lying to the statue? I mean, we can tell it that the city desperately needs its help, but it needs to stop being a statue.
I like the enthusiasm, but I am not confident in our ability to deal with a live Pegasus. By which I mean I think it's going to be easier to bleed while it's still mostly statue.
I guess we can ask the statue nicely if we can have some blood for the good of humanity.
I mean, that sounds like the sort of thing Jeff would do, and that's actually been working so far, so I'm on board with this idea. Jeff, you speak Celestial. Can we go and ask the statue nicely for some blood, but this time with more stealth?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like we need to bribe Jeff with half our dinner first.
Jeff's he's on board. He's just like, yeah. He's just a bit confused as to how we're going to go try and talk a stone statue into giving us more blood.
It's
not-
You're the
it's-
expert in this nonsense, Jeff.
It's not the unwillingness; it's the confusion at the moment is kicking in.
Look, Jeff, I need you to have faith. Not faith in yourself, but faith in me having faith in you.
Jeff just reiterates the same. Yeah, just slightly more confused.
You can do it, Jeff. You can go up to the statue and you can say to it that, for the good of humanity, we really need a little bit of blood if it wouldn't hurt it too much. Or something similar.
Also, thinking about it, a water skin might not be the best container for it. Can we get something with perhaps a cork in?
Yeah, we should probably do
A
that.
vial would be good.
Yeah, do I
Yeah.
have like a potion that I've got that I could pour out? It does not look like I do. Yeah, no potion, I'm afraid. Alrighty, looks like we'll have to check the cult supplies before we leave again. But even I'm hungry for this delicious food that we can smell. Shall we have something to eat before we go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right,
I think
so
we go and have dinner then.
you head into the mess hall, and you seem to be late because there's only two more people sitting around. One of which is a guy called Dan, another one of those humans. Uh, he's a more rotund man. It's not surprising that he would be one of the last to get up. The other person sitting in a corner by herself is Esther, looking very pale, staring at her food. She doesn't even acknowledge your existence as you walk in.
Esther, the magic lady with the stuff. That looks good. And then Jeff just walks in, shouts that, and just walks over to Esther to, inquire more about the food. Obviously.
Uh,
I'm actually worried. Esther, are you okay? You look a bit under the weather, bless you.
well, first up, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me fetch something for you. And she quickly
Are
stands
you
up.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Just sit down. Be right back. Gets up, goes into the kitchen, and shortly after comes back with two still steaming bowls of food that he puts in front of the two of you who don't have anything to eat yet.
Mhm.
And then she sits down, just crossing her fingers as if she were praying, leaning on the table. Something quite unfortunate has happened. Apparently, someone has arrived in town that is looking for me.
Ah.
Oh.
Like a taxman.
Something like that, yeah. I've been hiding from this taxman uh, for a while. It's worked quite well, but apparently the amount of taxes I owe has increased to a point where he really doesn't want to let me go. So,
Well, Esther, I have some experience dealing with these taxmen. If you gave us enough information to track this person down, maybe we could help so that you can uh, regain some sense of normality. I mean, after all, you've helped us so much since we got here.
Yeah, like that lantern was amazing.
Yeah, see, Jeff's happy.
of course, I assume that he would be. Um, I don't know much about the guy. If first time I came across him, I actually just heard about him arriving, and I knew at that moment that I need to go. Um, I've only had like a glimpse of him once during one of our encounters. He seems to be a human in his. I don't know. It's hard to guess. with humans. I guess in his mid-40s. Scruffy beard. Lots of scars. Very serious face. Doesn't seem like he laughs much. Yeah, that's about all I know, but I think he's called Carl. Not sure about a
Okay.
last name.
I mean, how many people can there be who have lots of scars and are called Carl? I feel like that's going to be something of a lead. Will you be safe hiding out here in the meantime?
I think so. I don't leave much, so I guess it would be hard for him to find out where I am. So for now, I'm feeling quite safe in here.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So we after we've eaten, we're off out again. Wait, what time of day is it? Out of character.
It's late evening.
Good. We I think are planning to be off out again once we've eaten. So we will discreetly look around, see if we can figure out anything about this Carl person, and solve your tax problem.
All right. Are you running an errand?
Yes, for Arnold at the moment.
Okay. Do you need anything for that? Any more lamps?
Would you happen to have a vial?
A vial, of course. Of course, no worries. How many?
I
Let's say 2 to be safe, I think.
yeah.
Okay, 2 vials. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can procure that for you in a second. Just, I think, those are full. I filled those. I filled a lot up in recent days. I think I should have 2 or 3 left. So just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. And she walks back into the kitchen.
I take the opportunity to dig into my food because I'm hungry.
It's delicious.
Your webcam froze for just a second as you said that as well, like really reinforcing how tasty this is.
Yeah.
It's my stream, actually.
Esther
I am
is a
trying.
very good cook.
Mm.
All right. You don't have anything to talk about shortly after comes back, and handing you 2 glass vials. I hope these are big enough. Those are really all I had left. So you're lucky. You're lucky you didn't come a day later.
Mm. Well, thank you ever so much. Just seeing Skigadance's joke. Okay. But have you had chance to eat anything yet, Esther? Because you still look a bit pale.
Oh yeah, I had the chance. I just have a, I didn't had an appetite yet. But I think now that I know that you guys will take care of it, look, the food will go down a little easier.
I hope so, because you need to keep your strength up.
Of course.
Definitely need to eat so you can be big and strong like me.
Yes.
Yes, Jeff. The thing with the eyes, does that come with becoming big and strong? You see
The thing with the
Yeah.
eyes.
you see a small little smile curl across her face.
Jeff looks confused. He's like, the thing with that. Oh God, not this again. He just kind of glares, just glares at Mervyn and Solon, and just shakes his head, picks up what's left on his plate, and is like, "I'll see you two in a bit," and just walks out.
As Jeff goes, Solon's gonna very seriously ask Mervyn, "Is human eyes contagious?"
I don't think it is. Okay. I should really go and apologise to Jeff. I feel responsible for this.
And you see Esther also chuckling to herself and say, it's not Solon. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, let's finish our food and then go and try and cheer up Jeff.
All right, Jeff, where have you gone?
Towards my room to sit on my bed and eat my pulled pork.
You're totally pulled pork.
Hmm.
Yes. All right. Yeah, you find Jeff eating his dinner in your chambers. It's quite cramped. It's only like 15 by 15 feet with 3 beds inside.
I've slept in more cramped spaces, I'm sure, as a sailor.
Oh yeah, definitely. Way more cramped than that.
Mm. Hey, Jeff. Are you enjoying the food?
Oh, it's really good. I think it's
Mm.
really good. Everyone said it's really good, so Jeff is enjoying it. Yes.
Excellent. Listen, Jeff. I feel I owe you an apology. I I made a joke at your expense, and I feel that that joke has, by me, and not only by me, but partially by me, been now taken too far, and that it's upsetting you. And I wanted you to know that I am sorry.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Right. Uh, you need to get your strength up. So you finish your food, and then we need to figure out how we're going to get more blood from that Pegasus statue. How are we going to get more blood from that Pegasus statue? Like, I don't even have a knife.
Well, I don't think because it's made of stone, and obviously when I prodded it back with a feather, obviously it bled, and that worked by taking it out and putting it back in, which is kind of like what happens when you stab something. So maybe we just go pull out some feathers, apologize, and then prod the feathers back in repeatedly a few times.
I don't think apologizing will work a second time around, Jeff.
No, I'm not to the Pegasus, because obviously, I mean, I don't like it when people prod me with sharp, pointy things, so he's not going to like it, are they?
Ah, fair point. I mean, Solon, you know how to dissect things, right?
Sure. Sure. We can say that.
I mean, do you know anything about draining blood?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the best way to do that without killing subject, hypothetically?
Oh,
Say it's a horse. Have you ever done it to a... No, in fact, I rescind that question. Say it's a horse.
um. Well, yeah. I don't know how to do it without killing them.
This is going to go great. I can already tell. Okay.
Now, I actually feel like I have to add that you all do know that a single stab wound doesn't necessarily kill someone.
Yeah, but we've had healing magic on hand, and also I'm not a Pegasus. And I'm really dubious about this whole thing.
Is
Fair
Jeff
enough.
aware of how people get tattoos? Are tattoos a thing in this world?
Oh yes, tattoos are definitely a thing in this
Okay.
world, and it's pretty safe to assume that all of you, especially Mervyn, know roughly how it's done.
Mm.
So Jeff is in the back of his head thinking, and by in the back of his head, it means he's actually verbalizing this because, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder if, because I took it out and I put it in and it bled a bit, if we do it like it's a tattoo and we maybe don't do it as a smiley face because that would just be taking the mic, but if we just make like a big dot, we'd get a big dot's worth of blood. What could work?
Hmm. I've just now realised that Arnold was still non-specific about how much more blood he needs. I'm imagining it's more than a drop. I think we'll need a vial full at least.
Well, then you just keep making the dot, and it's like when you've got like if you prick your finger or something, you get a blood drop. If you keep squeezing it, you keep getting blood drops. So if we keep prodding it, we'll get more blood drops, and then we'll have a vial.
Okay, which leads me back to our previous problem. I don't have a knife. So, Solon, do you have what weapons does Solon have?
I think I have hammers actually.
Jeff's got his hand up.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
Jeff?
got warhammers.
Oh, right.
I do have a dagger.
Dagger, that's perfect.
But I've been thinking, Ezra has a problem with this Carl. How about we find Carl, and then we take the statue and we blame him?
Two birds, one stone.
Yes. And that way we can have as much blood as we need.
Jeff puts his hand up. It's made of stone. A knife's not going to probably work. We just need to use the feathers, pull the feather out, push the feather in. We don't need a knife. And let me just quickly close the door.
Okay then, so we have several variants of a plan that involve stabbing the statue.
Back.
I feel like we've got progress. I think we're sorted. Next problem, and I don't want to be the negative one here, but how do we do this without getting caught?
We wait till it's dark and don't send the non-stealthy one in.
Okay, yes.
I-
Solid
I-
plan.
I think the only only somewhat stealthy person here is Mervin, though.
Crap. Okay, guess this is my job now. Okay, but I can do stealth. I have some capability with stealth. So I've got to sneak in after dark, get to the statue, and get some blood out of it. At least
Or
since I can see in the dark, I won't need to light the place, and so I wouldn't make myself more conspicuous.
yeah.
So, okay. One final concern that I feel we can address ahead of time. The statue was responding to Jeff speaking Celestial. So, just in case.
Wasn't really responding. It just kind of vibrated and got a little bit warm.
But still, just in case it won't bleed unless it does that, can you teach me like a few words of Celestial to say to try and get it to do that again?
Jeff suddenly has an urge to teach you a few swear words. But then
Out of character, I really need you to suppress that urge.
But then realizes that that's probably more funny any other time of the day or week or year or just life in general. Okay, he tries to teach some of the just some of the most simple words he knows, like pot, pan, cabbage, spade, spoon.
Now, do you tell him what the words mean?
No, I just say the words out loud.
Perfect. There is no skill necessarily associated with it, so how about both of you just make me a intelligence check? Or no, actually just Mervin, because Jeff knows the language already.
Yeah.
He's just saying words.
Just about to say it, but I'm just saying words in a language I know.
Yeah.
I rolled a 7.
All right. You think you got it?
It does not fill me with confidence. Okay.
Your pronunciation, Jeff's just starts like repeating the words slowly, which, by the sounds of it, isn't helping.
I'm too convinced that I've got it at this point.
Yep. Jeff's just going pan, spade, spoon.
God.
Okay. Do we feel about ready to set off? Or as ready as we expect that we are going to feel at any point during this ordeal?
I have a question. Because at this point, Jeff's still sat in just his, common clothes with his vestments and stuff on, because that's how he got away with being, friendly and whatnot. He was dressed like a traveling priest of a obviously different religion. So I kind of look down at what I'm wearing. I'm like, do you want me in the heavy stuff or just looking normal?
Hmm.
Do we
I am
expect that we might have to run to the rescue?
knowing how our luck goes, yes, I'm more concerned with the attention that Jeff would draw in armor in the streets. How familiar are we familiar enough with the town to know how much activity there is likely to be around the square at sort of like late evening, early night?
Well, I'd imagine, because I'm obviously in relatively decent, chainmail and whatnot, and I've got the cloak, and it is a town, and there are obviously dangerous creatures outside. Adventurers won't be unheard of. As
That's
long as,
true.
and if Jeff isn't the kind of sneaky type person. As long as he just walks like he has purpose, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much like Juno said. The town, also because it's not just dangerous creatures around. It's also a port town, so it's pretty usual. It's pretty normal for just random people in armor walking around. Obviously, you stick out a bit, but it's nothing that people would pay attention to too much. And also, because there's a lot of ships around, there's bound to be some activity in the streets at night because, drunken sailors.
Yeah.
On shore leave, basically.
And I'm only in chainmail, which is relatively common. It's not like I'm in full plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you're not going to be some sort of clanking behemoth.
Yeah, just some
full plate's not that noisy, but on a side note, not yet.
It's still noisy enough to. It's still noisy enough, but yeah, chainmail isn't as suspicious looking as a full plate would be. Considering a full set of full plate costs more than 1,000 gold, and then you would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
If you had that.
Okay. I feel ready.
All right. Is there anything else that any of you want to do before we skip to the night? As you try and bleed out a statue.
You sound so skeptical about this.
Well, you're trying to bleed out a statue.
Well, I don't know what way you thought this was going to go down.
I think this is going exactly how I expected.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. It doesn't seem like anyone has anything to add for now, so yeah, let's head off. I'm guessing you will be leaving together, and at some point Mervyn will split off. On your way towards the temple. There's nothing wrong. There's no curfew in this town. Every once in a while, you walk past a guard on night shift, the odd drunken person, half of which are sailors, the other half are locals. And yeah, you approach the town square, where I'm guessing Mervyn will split off, which would mean I would like to have a stealth check from you.
My time to shine. 16. Not as high as I wanted.
That is a 16, all right. Now, are you trying to get in?
Are the temple's front doors locked at night?
You don't know. Was the first time you've been in there?
That's the thing. And if I try and get in and they're locked, that could be very conspicuous. However, if they're unlocked and anyone can go in any time of the day, then I'm going to feel like a right idiot if I don't at least give it a go. So yeah, I'm torn as well because I have real life knowledge of this. Around where I grew up, there were quite a few churches. There's loads of these little things around everywhere, all with like steeples and church bells. And I know that for those out in the villages, which were very safe where I lived, the church doors were left unlocked and you could go inside at any time of day. But I don't imagine that anyone in the city where I now live would be that trusting of the general public.
Trusting, no. Stupid, yes.
There we go. I'm going to try the door. See if it's open. I'm not going to try the latch. I'm just going to sort of try pushing it, see if it's just open.
Right, and lucky you, it seems like the door actually is unlocked in this town.
Ooh, okay.
Now, if it's being trusting or if it's being stupid, that's up for you to decide. But you can get in without a problem.
So when I get inside, are there any people around, or is the inside of the temple deserted at the moment?
Make a perception check.
Perception check it is. Oh no, I fumbled. So much for dark vision.
Dark vision's the reason why you didn't have this advantage.
See, you're relying on your eyes too much. There are other things to not being snuck upon.
All right, so that's a 3 on a perception. By the way, just as a refresher, natural 1s and 20s only have an effect for attack rolls, nothing else. So even if you roll a 1, if your modifier is high enough, you could still succeed. It's just
that's encouraging. My D&D games are far more harsh.
This is the official rules, actually.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because otherwise you can get really, really good at something, and a 1 in 20 chance of failing actually is still technically too high once you start looking at the mathematics behind the odds. So no, that's a good way of dealing with that.
It would be like a blacksmith who's been practicing for 30 years, not being able to make a dagger.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, I don't imagine I can see very much inside in terms of people being around.
You can't see any people. You're pretty sure no one's there.
Are there any lit candles, torches, anything like that?
No. It's dark.
Okay. In that case, I feel fairly safe that there's not any sort of members of the public in here. I can't remember. Can you remind me? The priest that that Jeff spoke to earlier, I don't know if I would have been close enough to see, but were they human?
You were close enough at one point, as he first approached Jeff closer to the doors before he guided him to the altar and statue. So you did see him, and he is human.
Okay, so they're not going to have dark vision. So I've only got to worry about my own paranoia about how paranoid they might be of people sneaking into the temple. Okay. So next, I'm going to actually walk sort of towards the. I'm trying to remember what the structures are called now. Is it the dais that the priest would preach from?
I think so.
Okay, so I'm going to walk towards that and take a seat on the benches, sort of closer to the front, and just sit and wait for just a couple of minutes to look inconspicuous, look like I'm in prayer, but just keep alert and keep an eye out for anything.
All right. You wait for a few minutes, and the only thing you hear is some commotion outside. You can't really pick it up, but something seems to be happening on the plaza.
Okay. I've calmed myself down. I'm feeling safe. I'm going to go up to the Pegasus statue, and I'm going to try and see if I can remember where Jeff put that feather back in, and see if I
Oh,
can find the same spot.
you know what? That's gonna
Hmm?
be hard because your dark vision only gives you black and white
Yes.
at this point. Because there's not much in terms of moonlight shining through right now.
It's going to be really dark.
It's really dark. Jeff would have probably fallen flat a few times by now. Sorry.
Oh, he'd have brought
Sorry,
a lantern.
dude.
He'd have brought a lantern.
No.
Yeah, Jeff would have been smart about this.
And also, at the time when he picked the feather, and also when he put the feather back in, you were nowhere near. So
Okay.
I guess in this case, make a perception check with disadvantage, even though you have dark vision, to see if
Yeah,
you
no,
can make out this one spot where the feather was.
Okay, so I've rolled a 19 and a 22 on perception.
Wow!
So it'd be the 19.
All right, you actually see one feather that at the base is a little bit darker than the rest.
Okay, so I'm pretty confident that's the feather. So I'm going to gingerly reach up and try and just gently pull it out.
All right, you do that.
Does the feather come away easily, or is it stuck in now?
No, it comes off pretty easily.
Okay. I'm going to get one of the glass vials out then, pop the cork on it, and hold it in my other hand. And then, holding the feather sort of like a quill or a pen, I'm going to try and push it in a bit harder to see if I can get any give and get any blood to come out.
All right, you do that. Yeah, that's easy enough to do. There's no check involved.
Hmm.
Every time you push it in and pull it back out again and do it like that. I'm lucky the camera didn't pick up my hand motion right now. The only thing that's really happening is that the shaft, okay, it's not getting better. The shaft of the feather is getting a little darker,
Hmm.
but there's nothing in terms of blood flow, really.
Okay. I'm gonna try now with the dagger that I've borrowed from Solon then and try that.
All right, the dagger is way too broad to push it into the hole where the feather belongs.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna try and bleed it from somewhere else, somewhere low down, so it's got strong blood pressure.
All right. You know how a horse looks. Where do
Yeah.
you try?
Okay, so I'm thinking somewhere inconspicuous that won't be initially noticed, So where one of its hoofs and what is sort of it actually supporting its weight, I'm gonna go sort of around the back of the ankle above the hoof, and just make a small nick there and see if I can get blood flow with the dagger.
Right. What? Which leg? Just for me, just so
Let's go
just so we
with
know where he
let's,
is.
assuming all of the legs are touching the base of the sort of the statue stood on. I'm going to go for the left foreleg.
Left foreleg. Okay. By the way,
Hmm.
by the way, there is something you might want to see actually.
Can I see it with my perception roll of 3?
I don't know. Does your perception roll 3 allow you to take a look at roll 20?
Right, I'm with you now. Okay, so this is a map of the temple now.
Yes. Just remember
Okay.
that I actually made one earlier.
So where I would be stood is probably at sort of this side of the horse of the Pegasus, sorry. Um, so that I can get around the back of its foot.
All right. So that's where you are. All right. Um. What check would that be? Let's make it. Hmm. Let's make it a strength check actually, because
Okay.
you're trying to cut into stone.
Yeah. I rolled an 8. Oh dear.
An 8. All right. You draw your dagger across the back of its leg, and uh, you do get a small groove. Like you do manage to get a small scratch in,
Mm.
but there's a you can see that in the center where the groove is, where it actually is the deepest, there is a little bit of a dark bead forming.
Okay. I'm going to sort of try and just squeeze the ankle. I know it's stone, but I'm trying to put myself in the Jeff mindset now. And I'm going to see if I can squeeze the ankle to get more blood flow.
Okay, make another strength check.
I rolled a 16.
All right. Surprisingly enough, part of the statue gives a little under the pressure of your hands, and the bead gets bigger.
Excellent. Okay.
Not enough to be
Um,
called a blood flow, but it certainly seems to work.
okay. I'm just thinking. Okay, so I think that the problem I've now got is that I've not made a big enough hole. So rather than trying to slice it with the dagger, I'm going to sort of just jab it with the tip.
All right, jam it in. Make one more strength check.
Oh no. I rolled a 5.
All right, you try to jam it in, and and a scraping sound because you actually miss where you want to
Oh
go,
no.
and the dagger scrapes loudly across the hoof. Now let's see. Someone heard that. Okay.
Okay.
You were aware of the sound it made. You hold still. I'm shocked. You hold still for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You wait. You wait. And you wait a little longer. Seems to be fine. Seem to be quite lucky today.
It would seem so. Okay. Dagger is not working. So, what I'm thinking is I'm going to go and get the feather if I haven't just still got it in my hand. And I'm going to try and force that into the gap and see if it's more capable of penetrating itself than the dagger is of penetrating it.
All right. This time, make it a dexterity check with advantage.
With advantage, okay.
Yes.
So first check rolls an 18, so that's already good. Yeah, because the second one was a 7.
All right. Yeah. It seems to work. Push. You push the feather right in where the small bead of blood was,
Mm.
and it works. There's way more resistance than flesh, obviously. It's a lot of resistance. With a little wiggling, you actually manage to get it in there. And as you pull it out, a trickle of blood comes out as well.
Okay, I'm going to get the vial underneath and try and collect as much as I can in the first vial.
All right. Yeah, the first vial fills up no problem. And
In that case, I'm going to try and fill the second as well.
the second vial only gets a few more drops, unfortunately.
And does the bleeding seem to be stopping?
Bleeding seems to be stopping, but there's a dark streak running across, and it's hard with a small vial to collect a trickle of blood that's coming from a statue.
Yeah,
So
no, I imagine I've spilt quite
yeah,
a lot.
you spilled quite a lot. So there's a small puddle of blood at the base of the hoof.
Okay, then the last thing I want to do is I can't remember. Do I wear a cloak? I don't think I do. No, I'm in sailor's gear, so I'm not going to have lots of baggy clothing.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm looking to see what I've got that I can. Oh no, I just have regular common clothes. Trying to look if I've got anything that I could use to wipe that up. I didn't plan for this. Oh dear.
Really, you didn't plan for mopping up some the blood that came out of a statue.
No, oddly enough.
How strange.
Damn. I'm trying to think of anything that I would have on me. I'm looking around frantically now, trying to see if there's anything that is sort of some piece of cloth that I could hypothetically use to wipe this up.
All right, quick perception check.
7.
No cloth,
Oh dear.
other than the stuff you're wearing.
Yeah, and I kind of don't want to walk out of here covered in unicorn blood or celestial blood anyway.
All
I'm
right.
in trouble.
While Mervin is thinking about what to do,
Yeah.
how's the situation outside?
I guess
I'm
it's fine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm assuming, knowing unless Skicker's decided Solon is going off for a wander shopping, maybe to find some dwarven friends. Jeff's probably just chilling out. Just that normally, maybe with a little bit of leftover pork.
All right.
If he
Is it
doesn't have
actual pork
leftover
this time?
pork, I don't know. It was whatever the food was earlier. If he doesn't have any of that left, he's gonna just get one of his ration bars out and munch on that a bit.
All right. Jeff's
Unless
eating.
we
Solon is doing what?
just waiting.
Just waiting. All right, both of you make perception checks. Jeff with disadvantage.
I rolled a 21 and a 20.
The legend of Jeff
8.
continues.
Now,
There's no way you're stealing food from me. That's what this is all about.
with like unexpectedly, Solon, you're just waiting around, looking to the darkness of the square. Jeff eating right beside you, and all of a sudden he pipes up. Or suddenly he looks up, squints his eyes a little, and Jeff, as you do that, you do see a hooded figure walking around, and as they do pass the light coming off of one of the taverns, you get a look on his face. The angle is just perfect for you right now, and the lighting right in the face of this person, you actually see a scruffy looking human in his 40s with a bunch of scars, looking miserable, pupils surprisingly big. Considering he's walking past light, his pupils are gigantic right now.
I instantly, obviously, as you said, I'm like, heads up, and I'm like, Solon,
Yeah.
isn't that the person Esther was on about?
I think so.
It's the taxman.
Yeah. Do you think he's here to steal your food?
No, food is tax exempt, isn't it?
You should go ask.
But we're supposed to be being sneaky. I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to help Esther, but we're supposed to be being sneaky, and you know what?
Yeah.
Mervyn, it'll be fine.
You want to follow him and we can ask him later when we're more private.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna munch on my ration or food, whatever I've got left over, and I guess we're gonna go follow the taxman.
All right, you follow the taxman. He, you know what? I guess we have to do it. Make stealth checks. And Jeff, because you are wearing your chain right now, get disadvantage.
Fine.
Oh no.
14.
All right, not too bad. Solon.
I am not sure what that roll is about. I clicked it once and I got an 8, and then it's like under that it says like 3 and 1 and heavy armor.
What armor are you wearing?
Scale.
Oh, ha! You're also wearing heavy. You're also at a disadvantage. Yeah, that's an automatic disadvantage
On stealth
that it has
checks.
been rolling. Is the chainmail? Does chainmail even give disadvantage? Gonna double check that. But anyway, Jeff's lower roll was the first one. Yes, Solon is very loud. Right, not stealthy at all. I don't think I even have to roll a perception check for the guy. No. Not really.
Oh no.
I'm gonna check that later. Yeah. As he walks down an alley, the two of you follow. Solon, you're just a little bit too enthusiastic, and you bounce a little bit too much, and metal bits on your armor just scrape across one another, making this very obvious sound, and the guy just whips his head around, like his whole body whips around. Excuse me. What is this?
Staying still and not saying anything to try and
He's looking.
pretend.
He's looking right at the both of you.
Excuse me. So, my friend here thinks you're the taxman, and I have a question. Is food taxable?
Taxman? How would what? What are you talking about?
You know, a man who collects taxes. So anyway,
I don't
Food.
do that.
you don't collect taxes, or you don't collect taxes on food?
I don't collect taxes. I collect bounties.
Is there bounties on food?
Not usually.
Solon.
Yeah.
Would someone put a bounty on food? Is that something you would do?
I don't know. Is there a bounty on food?
I don't know. Well, if he's a wait, if you collect bounties, does this mean you're a bounty collector, a bounty man?
I'm a bounty hunter. But
So you hunt bounties, you don't
I-
collect them.
I hunt people that have a bounty on them.
Oh, so food will be fine.
Yes,
Right.
food will be fine. What the? You know what? Just leave me. Unless you know anything about unless you know anything about about the whereabouts of an infamous poisoner, just don't bother. Just let me do my job. Leave me alone.
Well, would this right? So I know a bit about poison. It's bad for you. So would that poisoner ruin people's food?
Certainly what she has done in the past.
That's disgraceful. I look at Solon like big eyes, and I'm like, we need to help him. You can't mess with the food.
Yeah, we need to help him. We need to protect the food.
We turn around, like I stand up to my full height, and obviously, like in the process, like slightly unclip my plate, so you can see that I am equipped, well armed. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I want to help.
as you get up to your full height, you do see him like cock his head just a bit as he looks at you and looks you up and down. All right. So you want to help me find the poisoner?
Yes.
Yep. We're gonna help protect the food.
And you will do that out of the goodness of your hearts and don't demand any compensation for it?
Can I charge for food? One meal from a good cook.
Right? He looks like he's thinking about it. All right, can do that. And holds his hand out to you.
Shake.
Jake. All right. He looks at you, Solon. Holds his hand out. You too?
I'll help Jeff. I don't need food. That's fine. This here's my buddy. He wants to protect the food, so let's protect the food.
All right. So what are your names? My name's Carl von Stetten.
Jeff.
Jeff.
And I'm Solon.
Jeff and Sona. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Is he always like this? Looking at you, Sona, pointing at Jeff.
Yes. Don't worry though, he's good in a fight.
Gotta take your word for it.
Cool. Okay, so we have we have well and truly confirmed that this is the man that is after Esther because we have his name and we knew his name was Carl. I think I wrote that down. It was Carl. And now we're on his side, so that should make it easier for us to dissuade him later when he finds out that Esther is nothing but the best chef ever.
Yeah.
Right. Is he? Now that the introductions are over. Have you ever? I'm guessing you don't know who we're actually looking for, so let me cue you in. We're looking for a woman called who goes by the name of Zintris. She's been creating poisons for about a decade now, has evaded everyone's grasp somehow. Her poisons are dangerous. She is dangerous. Thanks to her, multiple noble families have been wiped out completely. There's a bounty of 100 platinum pieces on her head. Just her head.
Question, does that mean that if we bring in the rest of her body, we don't get paid for the body?
As long as the head is attached.
Okay.
And with that, let's take a short break. I have to work through this. I need a moment. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Hang in there. See you in a bit. And welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us while we take our breaks. And let us just jump back in to Mervyn.
I'm up.
You're sitting in front of a pool of blood. Like a puddle. Not a pool, a puddle of blood.
Okay. I would like to use my cloak to do my best to mop up the blood. And I'm gonna specifically try and use the inside of it, thinking that's a clever idea.
Alright. Now, I kind of do need you to make a check for that.
Yeah, because I'm probably not going to be able to see all the blood very
Yeah.
well if not.
Let's say you make another perception check.
Perception it is. I rolled a 14.
Alright. You mop up the puddle of blood, and you think you did a good job. You look around, you don't see any unnaturally dark spots on the stone floor or on the statue. Seems to be pretty well cleaned off.
Okay. Well, with that done, then I am going to stow the vials on my person so that I'm not holding them in my hands and try and, as quietly as possible, leave the temple.
Alright, make me one last stealth check, please.
Come on, +5 to stealth. 25.
25. Nice. Alright, so you sneak your way down the aisle towards the front gate, which, by the way, is a massive double gate with a smaller door inside of it. So it's actually not as obvious as you exit. And yeah, you get out, breathe in the fresh nightly air of the town of Cliffside. And where do you go from there?
Well, I'm immediately looking for Solon and Jeff,
Yep.
who I imagine are not present.
You immediately look at where you left them. They're not there anymore.
Oh dear. Okay. Slightly panicked now. Where do I think they could have gone? If I was Jeff or Solon, I'm feeling better that Solon is with Jeff. Why would they have left? To distract someone? Or to follow someone? But I don't know where they've gone. And the only two places where they're going to know that I would be are here and back at the hideout. And that's the only logical places that we could meet up. Or to eat something. Yes, they could have gone to eat something. So when they get back here and don't find me, they will then think to go back to the hideout. I have no idea where they are, and I have now precious cargo. So I'm thinking I head back to the hideout, but I am really worried about what's happened to them.
All right. Any specific way you go back to the hideout?
I would specifically like to avoid the main street, so I'm going to use sort of like the narrower roads and back alleys as best I can.
All right. Narrow roads, back alleys, but just walking.
Just walking it. I'm not in a rush. I'm not trying to draw attention to myself. I'm just moving slowly, cautiously, trying to avoid any guards, especially.
All right. You do that. And eventually, you do arrive at the hideout. Solon and Jeff, on the other hand, Carl looks at you and goes, "Now, have you heard any rumors about a half-elven woman selling illicit substances? Or is it just that, or did you hear about it for the first time now and you're actually not that big of a help unless it gets physical? Looking at
N-
looking
uh,
at the big guy, that could work."
Now that I think about it, I haven't specifically heard about a half-elven woman, but I've heard that there were some hunters found in the woods that didn't die of natural causes.
Oh, the guys who went hunting the bear and blatantly weren't killed by a bear.
Yeah, those guys.
Wasn't there like, was that the thing with the, what did that guard call it? Corruption?
I don't know. It sort of like didn't look right. Like like they've eaten or touched something they shouldn't, and like they were like bleeding everywhere and such. Looked really bad apparently.
Oh, yeah. Corruption doesn't really sound like Zintris, but it's been a while. She might have had breakthroughs in her studies. I guess it's worth investigating.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Uh, it's out in the woods there. We can show you the way. Like we've been in the area before. We were they were actually talking about us hunting the bear after the hunters failed. So we've investigated the area a little bit. If you want us to show you where it is.
Hmm. Let's see. Uh, been on our tail for a while now, but it seems like I'm getting closer, so I don't want to waste any time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go. Show me the way.
We're gonna try to lead him to where Mervin saw the bear.
Okay.
Is it getting dark?
It's pitch black.
Okay. I look at the dude and I'm like, I didn't bring my lantern. Are we all right for me to go get the lantern?
Yeah,
Or do you have a lantern?
I do have one, actually, yes. Just follow me for now.
That works.
Yep.
No,
And then I look at the guy and I'm like, do you. So, I know you have a lantern, but can you see in the dark?
no.
Good, finally. It's not just me then.
And he leads you close to where you need to go, actually. He leads you to the northwest side of the town, still inside the walls. That's the word I was looking for. Still inside the walls. But it's because you've spent some time here, you know, it's a little more shadier part of town. Also cheaper because of it. And he leads you through the streets towards a establishment called the Mine Shaft. And outside the door, he just turns to you. Now, just give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. And he heads in.
Go sit down.
Jeff, do you think you have time to run back to the hideout and see if you can find Mervin?
How far away are we?
Oh, you're quite a distance away from the hideout at this point. Not a 5 minute walk. More like half an hour, 45 minutes, if you're fast.
Yeah, even if I run, that's still 10 minutes there and 10 minutes back. I look at it and I'm like, how quick do you think I am?
I don't know.
I'm not that quick.
You're my first human friend in a while. I don't know how humans work that well.
Pretty much the same way as you, just without the eyes.
Oh. No.
And
And
maybe we
I
don't live
sound
as long.
sort of sad for Jeff when I say oh.
Oh, can I? How often can I do this? Hang on a second. No, I don't want to do it yet. Doesn't matter. Ignore me.
All right. Yeah. You wait like 5 minutes, and the guy comes back out with a lantern and a backpack. All right. Which direction?
And
And
we start
start walking
heading towards.
towards the north gate, where, because it's dark and the gate's closed, the guard, as you approach, holds out his hand, palm towards you. What's your business this time of day? Looking
I
at
look at
the group.
the. I was going to say Clive. I look at.
I like how in your head he's just now called Clive.
I don't know why.
How about you write the name down?
I have it wrote down in front of me. You just keep calling him Clive.
Sometimes,
okay, Jeff.
sometimes I question if you're actually role playing.
Ah,
Oh,
it's okay, Gina.
Oh, right. I look at the totally not a taxman. I'm not going to call him a bounty collector because he doesn't collect bounties. I'm going to call him a bounty hunter. So I look at the bounty hunter and I'm like, he's the boss for this.
All right. He takes a step forward and quickly tells the guy that what you're doing here. And I will do one of these and one of these. The guard looks a bit skeptical, but he doesn't seem to be too put off by you. Probably good thing that it seems to be a different guard than last time you went through this gate.
I did wonder for a moment. I was like, oh god, he's going to recognize them.
And he just looks you up and down once more and then steps aside and waves you through. Be safe out there. Oh, that was the wrong voice.
I just nod as we leave.
Hey, now you do lead him the same way as you went yesterday. It's actually only been a day.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Which also means that as you arrive at the spot where you left the bodies are still there. And as Har realizes this, turns around. He turns around and looks very angry at you. He says, "How did you know about that?"
Someone looks at him confused and goes, I haven't heard about that. Did they send another pair of hunters out? The ones we heard about were 2 guys.
Make a deception check.
Oh boy.
That was. I thought that was a good save.
13.
13. God, you're all so lucky today.
Yes.
He relaxes a bit, and you see he actually pulled a dagger halfway out of a sheath inside, hidden in his cloak. Lets the dagger slide back in. No, Sky, I'm not doing that yet. No. And he relaxes a bit, and all right then. So something else has happened here as well. So. Oh, if it's her, he's blood hungry again. All right, sure.
Like
Let
blood hungry?
me take a look at this. And he kneels down and looks at the now a little swollen, slightly smelly corpses of the hunters that you've dispatched earlier.
I'm assuming they're somewhat eaten by animals by now.
Yeah, there's a few there's a few chunks of them missing, yes.
Yeah.
Which is sad because it means our bear hasn't been fed.
And he just made an
Shh.
You know, one of them has just to remind you, one of those hunters had their rib cage caved in by Jeff.
Oh god.
Yeah, huh?
Only if you can prove it was Jeff.
I just rolled a 3 on his investigation.
Chest caved in. Wound to chest. Probably a cockatrice.
Yes, of
Look at
course.
your face.
The dice just want you to succeed today. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Not mad at all.
You're just very disappointed.
Slightly.
Jeff is just lucky, even though he hasn't used his lucky rolls yet. He is living up to his lucky nature.
Yeah, you haven't used your luck feat once. Seems like a waste at this point. You don't need it.
Don't worry, they're probably gonna get used in like quick succession soon enough.
Yeah. All right. He inspects the two corpses, and as you stand there and wait, he prods them, gets really up close to them. At one point, Solon, you get a weird feeling in your stomach as he is touching the caved-in chest. But then he just lets it be and turns around. All right, I can't really explain what killed them. I think they have been out here for too long. All the evidence has been, I guess, washed away. Was there rain recently? No, there was no rain in the last few days.
No.
Well, must have been the animals. Unfortunately, I can't determine if this is the doing of Zintris or not, or if it's something else. But we should alert the Town's Guard about this.
Yeah. We should. But should we show you where the other bodies were found first, or?
Oh yes, right. That's still a spot that I would like to investigate. Yes, please lead the way.
Yeah. Yep. And we keep heading towards where we saw the bear. Not exactly being quiet, because Solon is hoping to attract the bear. Without attracting the bear.
Okay. Now, as you keep walking through the woods, you don't hear anything that would tell you of the whereabouts of the bear. But you do reach roughly the area in which you saw the bear the night before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna have a look around to see if I can find any traces to find out where the bear went.
All right,
While pretending to be slightly lost.
Make an investigation check and a deception check.
So I rolled an 18 on the investigation and a 10 on the deception.
All right. You do see on one of the trees a deep gash in the bark where some sap has seeped out, and mixed within that is like flesh, but it's way too dark. Darker than flesh should be. And you see on the ground there are some paw prints pointing you roughly to the east. But
Yeah.
Carl, at this point, so what is this? Is this the spot where the hunters were found?
No, it's a bit more east of here, like in this direction. As I am pointing, like start heading there, like seeming to just have confirmed to myself that I am in the right location.
There's obviously Jeff followed the path to the point where we saw it running off. Can Jeff tell maybe a bit better on the directions point of view? Oh, it's dark, but I am following the guy with the lantern.
Yeah, make a survival check.
7. You know, I'm going to lucky this one before you tell me whether that's good enough or not, because I've just said I haven't used them.
All right.
So let's move it down, and then let's do another survival. I'm going to use the 15 of those dice rolls.
All right. According to your keen human survival instincts, you are you're not quite where you saw the bear, but you're quite close. You think you overshot the spot a bit, actually.
I pointed out to Solon to say, I think I recognize the route and the tracks. I think we actually want to be back that way, and then when we get there, I kind of want to use my divine sense because the bear would smell magnificent, but obviously we'd have to be within 60 feet of it. So maybe save that and look around a little bit once we get to where we need to be.
Yeah.
All right. So you're trying. Solon is probably trying to follow the tracks at this point. Is that?
Yeah, a little bit, just not fully because he might notice those if I were following him fully, but like
Alright.
just following the general direction.
Make a survival check.
Yeah. 13.
13. All right. You do follow the path roughly. Every once in a while, you divert a little to the left and to the right, just to confirm that you can still see those prints, but not immediately following them. And you do so for about an hour. And you can see Kara getting a little what's the word?
Mad.
Frustrated,
Yeah,
annoyed.
let's say frustrated. That's close enough. Yeah, he gets a little impatient. That's what I was looking. That's the word I wanted. He's looking a little impatient, and you keep walking. An hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5, and at that point, Carl just stops and looks at you. How far are you trying to get me into this forest? I can't. Is it really that deep?
I think it should be around here, I say, trying to sound as if I'm almost certain that we're right there.
All right, make another deception check.
Jeez. 10.
10.
You know what? If Skigadance is like certain we're almost there, I'm gonna pop my divine sense and see if I can sniff out the bear.
All right, you activate your divine sense, and no.
I'm getting it going.
What? Actually, no, never mind. No. Divine sense doesn't pop. No awesome power metal music ringing in your ears at this point. But Carl looks at you very skeptical now, Solon, and you know he doesn't buy it. Just know, and he starts to back away from you.
At this point, Jeff just kind of picks up. You're going, I'm sure it was back there, but It's dark. Maybe we should just head back. Maybe someone's been cleaned up the area, moved on.
Uh,
And now you see Carl's hand inside his cloak. Sure, let's head back. You first.
Hmm.
And he
Jeff just
gestures
shrugs
with
and-
his free hand towards you.
But you have the light.
He hands you the lantern.
Oh, cool. Thank you. At which point I start leading the way back.
Alright, he waits for Solon to follow you, and he will be in the
Solon
rear.
shrugs and follows Jeff as if, it happened, accident, whatever.
Alright. So back we go. Now you've walked like 2.5 hours. More like 3.5 hours if we take the distance from the edge of the forest, or where the bodies are, to where you saw the bear first. So for how long does it take for you to walk like this till you do something? Or are you planning on just actually walking back?
I guess it depends on if Jeff decides to get lost or not.
That's a good point. Jeff, make a survival check with disadvantage.
I am not even. I was going to say I'm not even going to look roll this because getting lost sounds like a good plan in my mind. So 7.
All right. You walk for about an hour and a half. At which point, from behind you, you hear Carl saying, "We're walking in a circle.
No, we're not.
We are."
Mm, fine. I don't know where we're going. I offer him the light back. Jeff offers him the light back, and he's like, "Well, thank you for letting me be the light guy for a bit."
He turns to Solon, hands her the lantern. "You've led us here." And points in a direction. The direction he thinks you have to walk. Still having his right hand inside his cloak.
Well, if I'll guess I'll lead again then, I say, and immediately try to find out where the bear is to go back, because clearly he doesn't know the way back home.
Make a survival check.
21.
Millie's not going to need to summon Tiamat because we're about to kill ourselves in the woods.
Oh, one less stat block to worry about. Wow. So your intention is to follow the tracks again. Considering I have established that this is a dark night, no stars to orient yourselves with, and yeah. But you know what? Before you head off, you also have to make a deception check for me.
Yeah.
So I want to see if you can play this off.
13.
Oh, come on. Sure.
You underestimate us, Millie.
I underestimate my dice.
Need your dice off. They like me better than you right now.
I'm feeling the urge of throwing my dice across my room, but I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid I won't be finding it again.
Well, if you do that, you might get good rolls.
Don't encourage this.
But I will be getting another D20.
I indeed have a dice jail that probably has more dice in it than I actually have out of it.
As you do. All right. Yeah, he seems to believe you, but he won't be in between you. So he waits for you to lead the way and Jeff to follow. And
If we don't find the bear this time, it's at this point I'm thinking maybe we should, do what we did with the hunters.
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange them.
Are you thinking that, or are you saying that to Solon?
I'm thinking it at the moment.
All right. Now, here's the thing. Solon leading the way, Jeff in tow, Carl in the back, and you walk for half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And then you
It's got to be
realize something.
daytime by now, right?
And then you realize something. Sky is getting brighter.
It's getting darker.
The sky is getting brighter, and behind you, which immediately cues Carl in that you've been walking in the wrong direction. Again. Because you were walking towards the east earlier on your way out. And you're still walking east. No, wait. Sorry. Yeah, you're still walking east. The sun's coming up in front of you. Sun's coming up in front of you. And at this point, oh, that's nice. I threw a dice away. I hit my blanket. Perfect. You look around because suddenly you don't hear Carl's footsteps anymore. And you look around and you don't even need a perception check because he's hiding in a piece of behind a piece of shrubbery that just doesn't cover him. It's like half his size, but he thinks he's lying flat.
So I just turn around and like.
But you do realize what he's trying to do. He's trying to hide from you at this point.
I'm just like, what?
Someone looks kind of disappointed and looks at Jeff and goes, "Should we just do what we did yesterday?"
I think we should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his fault. He's got us lost in the woods.
Yeah.
We came out to help him, and now
Yeah.
he's just been rude.
Yeah, he is.
Can we be having this conversation out loud so you can hear us as well?
Sure. You're pretty sure he can hear you. Doesn't move. He thinks he's hidden.
Fine. I put the lantern down, and whilst like looking off to his right, I pull my my warhammer out and my shoulders, and I'm like, okay. So I start walking as if I'm gonna go past him. And
Did you
as
actually? You wanted to be inconspicuous while walking through the city, so Did you actually bring your warhammer for that?
Yeah, it was under my. It was like on my back. It was
Oh,
only really on my chainmail and stuff that was under my cloak and stuff.
all right.
don't-
I ticked the box and everything to say I was bringing it.
Yeah, sure. No, go ahead. You got it.
And then as I'm like passing him, I do that kind of turn on the spot, plant one foot up in the air, plonk it down right in front of it, and try to do a big two-handed overhead smash down onto his face
All
with
right.
divine smite, if that's how that works.
You can choose to use your smite once you hit the target.
Cool. Okay.
Once
so
you
if
know
I
if you
hit,
which also means you can decide to on a crit use it to double the damage on the smite as well.
Ooh.
That's one of the big advantages hey Paladin has. When they crit hard.
Mm.
Because he thinks he's hidden, he wasn't really expecting it. I'll give you a surprise round, which means you go before him before we roll initiative. Because he's prone, your attack has advantage. So roll your attack.
hang on then. Sorry. Where am I? I want this. Oh, it doesn't let me do two. So that was a 21.
It doesn't let you do that? What?
Oh, I was trying to make it roll with advantage, but I've probably ticked the box to not include it. So I rolled a 21 and a 15. So the 21 is my highest.
That hits.
Okay, so I'm going to divine smite that particular one. But I have to click that 21 to do the damage. So I do 8 bludgeoning damage. And
All right.
hang on, divine smite.
Is it a spell or your feature?
It's a teacher thing. I'm supposed to tick the box and I then click that button, then press that. 12 radiant damage and 8 bludgeoning.
Yeah. Yeah. That works. Now, you don't get another d8 because he's not undead. But that's 20 points of damage.
Yeah, I don't think that extra D8 isn't. It's not going to be missed.
With
that
a resounding thump, the hammer comes down on him, and he. And now I want you all to roll initiative.
I can't believe I'm missing this.
Oh god, I don't remember how to roll
Sorry.
initiative.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, Mervin's kind of being left out here.
No,
Sorry.
it's cool. This is brilliant.
Oh my god,
I rolled a 10.
I rolled a 3.
All right, so it's this one. It's Carl goes first, then goes Jeff, then goes Solon.
I need to quickly just get up in the book and remind myself how many spell slots I'm supposed to have.
I think 2. But yeah, check that. While Carl is tactical roll, makes a tactical roll away, gets up, runs off, and then
Would I get an attack of opportunity if he tries to roll away from me?
Yes, you actually would.
And just a quick question, what level are we again?
Ew.
Level 2.
2, so I get 2 spell slots and I've used 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So attack of opportunity with my mighty hammer of Jeffness.
That is a
I'm gonna look it before. I'm gonna look it.
all right. Get your luck.
I will use the 18 for that.
All right. The 18 hits. Yeah.
And I will use my last spell slot to do a Wrathful Smite with it.
Right. What was that? What does that do exactly?
I do 13 bludgeoning damage. And the Wrathful Smite is the next time you hit with a melee weapon during this attack during the spell's duration, your attack deals an extra 1d6 psychic damage. And it must do a wisdom saving throw or be frightened.
There's just one thing I need to check because I think the Wrathful Smite being an actual spell.
I think it's a bonus action, so we'll
All right,
assume
yeah, it's a bonus action.
We'll assume I read it properly and did it before I swung the hammer.
You can't use your bonus action before your reaction, so you can't use your Wrathful Smite on this. You could use the other one, though, because the other one is not a spell.
We'll just use the other one then, and that came in the original roll, which was...
that was the original one, the 8 plus 13, which means we're at 41 damage now. All right, yeah. 41. You know what? He's not a hardy guy. He didn't really expect it. As he tries to dash away from you, swing your hammer. Like as he is standing up, you bring your hammer down right on his spine, and you hear you feel it cracking under the weight of your hammer, and he just slumps down right in front of you, face palms the ground. Not even a twitch.
Jeff just kind of got...
That was 41 points of damage in one turn.
Looks at Solon and like, oh, that one looked like it hurt.
Yeah, that I don't think it hurts anymore.
Oh God.
Yeah, do you mind just popping his head just in case he's somehow alive?
I just prod a couple of times. Maybe, just check the breathing type thing.
You prod him. No reaction. You check his breathing. None. This guy is dead, bruh.
Alright, let's go home and tell Esther that we took care of our bounty hunter problem.
Yeah, so important question though, because just no reason at all. Which is the way back?
Oh.
My character's gonna be pretty worried now because it's been hours and you've been gone for ages, and I have no idea where you went.
The question is, did Mervyn eventually go to sleep?
I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to sleep because I'm too worried about what would have happened.
Wouldn't Mervyn have gone to see Arnold and delivered the sample and vial?
Yeah, that was the only reason I went back to the hideout rather than immediately trying to follow you.
So
I'd like to think I'm a good enough friend that I would have organised a search party.
Well, Mervyn did do that. you got a few of the cultists, like 3 or 4, and you've been systematically searching the city and trying to find them. For some reason, you were unsuccessful.
Hmm. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, I'm worried about them.
But Solon and Jeff, someone make a survival check, please.
I have one look. I'll let you go first. In fact, we'll both.
18.
How much?
18.
All right. The sun's coming up. That certainly helps. And you do now find your way back. You're pretty sure because you are following the tracks in the opposite direction, so you know you're getting closer. And eventually, after another 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours of travel, you finally reach the edge of the forest. And as you head back into the city and find your way back to the hideout, as you walk into the common area where you guys take your meals with like big sacks below your eyes and just looking awful. Just because you've been awake for so long. By the way, both of you take a point of exhaustion.
That's the only damage they've taken in this whole affair.
Yeah. Now, exhaustion. You can get points of exhaustion. Every point you get has a different effect. Basically, collect them until you die. Like if you reach 6 points of exhaustion, you're dead. You get rid of them, for example, by sleeping. The first point of exhaustion until you sleep it off gives you disadvantage on all ability checks. And for the people that don't know, that actually includes initiative rolls.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. But it doesn't do anything
Actually-
about attack rolls and saving throws. Those are
Had
still
to turn
good.
on exhaustion tracking.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
In the settings, the cog next to spells. So currently one says disadvantage on ability checks. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to bed. Long rest. Maybe like 24-hour long rest.
No.
At least
As you
I'm
walk
gonna be dreaming of bears.
back into the common area, you open the door and a quite distraught, also with heavy sacks under their eyes, Mervyn shoots up from his seat.
You guys, where have you been? You have no idea how long I have been combing this city for you. I was worried that something had happened.
Trying
Where
to-
were you?
We were trying to feed Esther's taxman to the bear.
Also, just to know, not a taxman. Apparently, it's a different thing. And I'm gonna go to bed. Right, Owen? And Jeff just keeps yawning and walks to bed.
Fair enough.
Solon, are you guys hurt? Are you okay? Genuinely, I have been so worried.
Right, Jeff just like shattered some guy's spine, and it took like 6 hours to get back from the woods. I'm gonna go to bed.
I'm too exhausted to deal with this. I need sleep. I vote we pick this up in the morning. I'm going to go to bed, and it's going to be okay. I feel like I'm as much of a victim of Jeff as any NPC in this game at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like Stolen is never going to be trusted alone with Jeff again.
The thought had crossed my mind, yes.
Oh.
As the three of you all head to bed, get a good day's rest,
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
and wake up to the sound of knocking at your door and Esther's voice. Dinner's ready.
Huh?
As you all slowly get up from your beds. You don't have any more you don't have any more points of exhaustion. You've had a long rest. You get your spell slots back.
There's a button for this, isn't there?
Relevant question. Is there such a thing as emotional exhaustion points? Because I feel like those haven't gone away yet.
You can keep your point of exhaustion if you want to.
No, I'm joking. I take it back.
Just say, if you want to keep it, feel free.
I'm perhaps slightly frazzled, but not exhausted, I'm going to think. Oh god, okay.
Maybe I will soon introduce a sanity mechanic, and then we can just take away points there.
That would seem to be necessary for some reason.
Yeah, for you and Solon, Jeff doesn't need it.
No.
Jeff's he's fed, he's watered, he's woke up. Me, on the other hand, I can't find the button to do the long rest stuff. So I'm just gonna do it by hand.
Yeah,
I couldn't find the exhaustion stuff, so I just like.
I think Roll20 doesn't really have a button for long rests, but I'm not sure.
It's fine.
We're gonna look into it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all
Okay.
get back up. What do you do?
I'm still I'm just going to try and get through the day. I want breakfast.
Yeah, food. And probably let Esther know that we've taken care of her taxman problem.
Right. At the dinner table, Esther eventually walks up to you and she also looks worried, and she looks at you and asks, What happened? I thought you were just running an errand, and then Mervyn came back and you guys vanished? What's up with that?
Well, you see, you know the tax man?
Yes.
So it turns out, right, he wasn't actually a tax man.
Oh, really?
He was like, yeah, he was like he said he was a bounty collector, but then we had a bit of an argument because he doesn't collect bounties, he hunts bounties, and that's like totally different things. Either way, he didn't know whether or not food is taxable, and then he was after some weird poisoner lady out in the woods, so we helped him for a bit, and then he had an accident.
Well, yeah.
He had an accident.
Yeah.
I could just see Solon's character just go, yeah.
He accidentally hit Jeff's hammer too hard.
Oh, that kind of accident.
Twice.
I'm guessing he won't recover from that accident anytime soon?
Oh no, he'll be fine. He wasn't breathing or anything last time we saw him, but I mean, like,
All right.
Esther, at this
Thank you.
point, I've just found it's best to just roll with it. I'm sure that it's fine. Somehow, these things have turned out fine for us so far. And Jeff has not left something intact after hitting it with that hammer to date.
Yeah. All right. She she visibly lights up and says, "All right then, let me get you an extra serving." And with a noticeable bounce in her step, goes back into the kitchen. And with the same bounce, she brings you another portion of the dinner.
Our
And
character, like, this is genius because Jeff actually did get that extra meal from a good cook after all.
Happy Jeff.
And Solon just sits there eating her meal without, and just sits there and wonders if Jeff realized that Esther was the poisoner that the bounty hunter was talking about or not.
No, but what
We'll
would have
never know.
happened, right, is so from Jeff's perspective, what would have happened was we found this poisoner. She had an accident with the hammer. Then we introduced the bounty hunter to Esther, who I would have got to pay for a good meal. And therefore help Esther repay the taxman issue. Win-win.
Anyway, after she's placed your extra plates in front of you, Esther just ruffles Jeff's hair a bit, smiles, and walks off.
So, you guys had a great night. I was busy getting the stuff for Arnold. That went both better and worse than I expected, I've got to admit. But the good news is we got it. The plan worked, and somehow everything turned out okay.
That's good.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm too exhausted to think about it too much either. Let's just finish having breakfast, dinner, whatever this is, and then we'll go see what Arnold wants from us next. Maybe we can get a rest.
All right, you finish up your dinner / breakfast, and then you head to Arnold's room, where you knock on the door, and shortly thereafter he opens the door and, "Oh, Irvin, I see you found your friends again.
Yeah, they
These,
came back last night.
I think you have something from."
Yes, yes, and I pull out the vials of blood and say I filled this one and I got a tiny amount in this one, but I hope this now is enough. Got it from the same source as the last stuff, but hopefully this is a more appropriate volume of what you need.
He grabs the full vial out of your hand, opens it up, brings it a little closer to his nose, then thinks differently, and just
Yeah.
waves the air towards his face and sniffs that. Shakes his head, and excellent. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. Thank you. This will suffice.
Oh, thank goodness. We were worried because it seemed so difficult to begin with, but we didn't want to let you down because you've been good to us so far, and you know that means something.
Good, good, good. Um, please, just go find Roger. Tell him it's time for his task, and you guys just take a day off.
Woo, day off.
You've earned it.
We need that.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that. Just
Okay.
tell Roger he has to do his job now, and then you're free to do anything. Tomorrow evening, I expect you to attend our ceremony.
Okay. Right, we need to go find this Roger character. Who is Roger?
You know Roger. He's actually he was in the in the common area / mess hall.
Okay.
He was there before, so
Ah, right. I will add Roger to the list of my friends. Because there's Guy, there's Andre, there's Dan, and now there's Roger.
Oh yeah, Guy the guy.
Plus Esther and Arnold, obviously.
all right. And yeah, you go into you get back into the commons area, find Roger, and as you relay Arnold's message, Esther quickly walks up to you, Jeff, takes your hand, places something inside of it. Thank you so much for help. This is a
More than
gift.
welcome.
This is a gift. Do not drink it. Any circumstances. Don't let anyone you care for drink. All right? But if you don't like someone, have them drink it. The problem will solve itself. Understand?
Yes. With a big grin, and then give Esther a hug.
Oh, all right. She tried to pet your shoulder, and then she gets this bear hug from you, and she leans in a bit, pats your back. Thank you so much. And as you release her, she gives you a wink and heads off. And in your palm, you now have a vial with a clear liquid inside of it.
Okay, so I am going to add to my items vial of not tasty things.
It's a very
Listen,
Jeff
it's-
way of putting it down.
Yeah, I would say that it's more of a vial of something that makes food never taste good again.
I've just called it probably poison.
Probably poison.
I don't know. See, I don't know if Jeff realizes that Esther is the poisoner we were looking for.
Pretty
No,
sure.
I
he
doubt
blatantly
it.
doesn't. He most definitely does not.
No.
Because the person the bounty hunter was looking for had a different name.
Yeah.
And in my mind, as I said, I was going to get him to pay me back by getting Esther to cook a really nice meal, getting him to pay Esther above acceptable prices, which would help her pay off the taxman.
See, Jeff
It's a
did
good
have a
plan.
plan.
Yeah. It's not even
Yeah.
it's not even a bad one.
No. It's
All
a
right.
good plan.
Yeah, because like the second like Carl tries to be hostile towards Esther, the same thing would have gone down, but just in the middle of our common room.
Exactly.
Right. So, and with that, with everything in this moment being completed, we will now end today's session. And just before we go, you do level up to level 3.
Huzzah.
After doing all of this, it's the early levels, so I tend to progress through them a little more quickly, get to the interesting bits. But but I think it's important especially for new players, to go through it to not be
Yeah.
overwhelmed by features. So yeah, we will be doing the leveling up process in time before the next session. And to everyone who's watching, thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you had fun. I hope you didn't facepalm too hard. And trust me when I say I can't believe that all of their plans basically worked.
Neither can we. That's the thing.
Like, the only hiccup in all of that planning was the one time Jeff got lost.
Really wish we got to defeat the bounty hunter to the bear, though.
So
I am sad over that.
Yeah, that was a bit sad. He's going to be hungry.
Yeah.
well, bears usually know how to hunt, so I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, a lucky day for these guys. Less for Mervin.
I lived.
But anyway, thank you so much for joining in to our cold shenanigans. And I hope you all have a great day, a great week. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye.